Cool.
NorthStarBall. With the big tier list now. Are we doing that today or?
Yeah, we'll do it now.
doing it?
Yeah,
Do it
look
now?
at
How long
all
do we
these
think-
leaders.
Jesus.
Look at all of these leaders.
Oh my god. So we already got set
Oh.
11 filled in. And we're just going to fill in the rest of it with decks that we could see in the meta coming up in set 11. Probably let's just call it the October meta.
Well, yeah, October. I
No,
mean,
'cause
realistically, it's just October because draft box,
yeah,
right?
draft box comes out November. I think also the expansion comes out November. Yeah. So
Yeah,
December's
I
I
think
think December's the only thing without a release.
so.
Well, let's get started.
I was
Shove
gonna say
Trucker
we have
Hat in
so
tier
much
4.
here. No, I don't think it's tier 4. I'm putting it here.
You think so?
I made this section almost solely for this card. All right. If Trucker Hat, if Android 13 has a Stoic or 2 in opening hand, that game is unwinnable. Like actually unwinnable. You start at 3 cards in hand and they have awoken and they hit you for 20 crit and they established a body.
I'm not gonna lie,
But-
I've not seen a deck kill your hand so fast.
But
It needs to see
if
everything.
you don't start with Stoic and an Android 15, you lose. You lose so fast and so badly. Because the moment, and it's not like other decks where it's like, oh, do they have it? I guess we'll kind of see. Like, if your opponent's just not gonna hit you, because if they hit you, they give you a card. And so you just start losing from there on. It's so bad. But like I really like when this deck goes off, it's like here. Right?
It's like
Sometimes
1.5.
even like in here. Like
Depends
it's
on
like
the
here.
matchup. Like, dude, your hand's gone turn 1. It
And
feels
like
it's so
and the
fast.
meta has now shifted away from the turn 1 multicolor charge. So it'll just run like mono green and then sells Kamehameha. And it will just wreck you.
It's crazy.
And just established Amigra turn 1 so that they have their counterplay live, their dormants are live after annihilating your hand.
Exactly. It's so crazy.
I guess I can see it.
But you have to hit all of those cards.
Yeah, okay.
These
Android,
guys.
the duo.
I think
3?
the deck. I mean, it could be here.
I think 3.
But I think as you actually start seeing some of these other lists, you'll actually end up like separating out 3 and 4 a little bit more. These decks are not like you just can't expect to bring this to an event and win more than a round or 2. You cannot expect to bring this to regional. And even if you're going like O and X, like if you're beating them because you're a better player, not because your deck is better.
It's fair.
Okay. I guess I just remember when androids really did reward you for being good with card advantage and handling your resources well, and that's why I really liked androids for a while. I don't know how that deck is in the current meta, just because I haven't.
Well, it's actually got really good options because like the Android 18 draw 2 is just a 2 energy draw.
Blue green Android is pretty fun.
We also now have a effective 2-drop 25k barrier crit, which is really good.
Yep. The Deadly Defender has and always will be good. 2 energy to become a 2 energy 25k swing and then a 20k Deadly Defender is good. It's just a little bit lacking, and then like I don't know, man. It's just fine. If we get a reboot leader, this deck actually like if the leader is just like brought up to stuff, it immediately goes to like here. And then depending on any support it gets, it goes to here.
Well, it depends on like a reboot leader for that could be like really good though. Like it already
because it would just be like what it would give the reduction on both sides, and I think it already does, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
No.
So
ignore specific costs.
Ooh, that'd be a little too strong.
I don't know.
Like all you would have
to
add.
Yellows or anything.
But
basically,
I guess
just lets you
the
play,
big
like,
thing that I see it needs to draw a card on one side.
Draw on the front, and then probably a +5 on the back or gain crit. Gain crit would be pretty good, like a 15k crit when you swing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. People will play
boy.
this.
My boy.
It's not good, but people will play it because if it goes unimpeded, the turn 4 play is really hard to beat.
Yeah, dropping
I would
I
I would argue is the second best of the World Tournament decks.
right
The
now,
other
yeah.
one being right here, and we'll get to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not very tough competition to be in. To be fair, that's the sad truth.
Dropping 2 triple strikes, 60k, like 40ks. Blockers
The
can't activate for the turn. Pretty
unisons
sick.
are going to be this card. Like this leader will get better as we get more unisons because it won't count towards the permanent. It's just kind of left in the dust for now.
One of the best leaders to run the Vegito unison right now.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. Not that it's
No,
that
it
good,
wouldn't make it tier 1
but
or
it's
anything.
the best one.
Yeah. The other one that can use the Vegito unison, I go 1.5. It's still topping.
No,
instead
no
11.
way.
Instead 11. I'm sorry.
I'd
Instead
put it
11.
in. I'd
Here
put
we
it in
go.
2. I'd put it in 2.
In 2.
If
Maybe-
you live past that turn 3 spot, you just can't lose because the leader doesn't draw anymore.
Yeah, maybe will kind of shut the deck down a bit. Put it back into place. Same with skill drain.
So like,
Oh, I don't know how you beat Skill Drain. I really don't.
Yeah, you don't.
it like there's just no matchups in this top tier that this deck can beat. And this is just with set 11 stuff, not even like the actual other best decks in the format. Because if this card drew on swing on the back, just that alone would probably make it 1.5, but it doesn't. And so you just stop drawing cards and the game's kind of over.
Yeah, there's still a possibility more AOD cards will come out, but it's right now because of how
it's a little gimmicky. They can't just like start printing AOD cards the way that you can like for random black or Gotenk support.
right.
Like it has to be like
a thing like an anniversary box again, just because how it is, or like random support, like Magnificent Collection random support.
Mm-hmm.
Birisu?
3.
It's fairly strong still. Like it draws so well.
I think I still got to give it 2.5 because 3. When I think about a tier 3 deck, I'm thinking like Burnhan. I'm thinking Cooler. I just think it's a little better than those, and we can change this as we start placing ones. Like we can move them, but it just draws so well, and like the cards in its card pool keep getting better. And at the very least, guys, it still drops an ape and draws 2.
Yeah.
And every turn on the backside, you get an extra 10k, both offensively and defensively, and you set up for an arrival. If this deck gets a red-yellow arrival that arrivals red, this leader is nuts.
I can see it. Being a god's kind of cool. There's going to be random support for that, but not
Oh
for
yeah,
11.
the Whis card is broken.
It's yes. But yeah, right now against what's above it, it's okay.
Maybe here. I want to say here though. If your deck has an answer to it, it's pretty hard to lose. If your deck doesn't, it's pretty hard to win.
Any yellow deck can just run Kaba and then negate the effect of the Boo for the turn, and then it can't go up the chain.
Why are you thinking Kava when Release from Evil is right there?
Right.
You're trying to pay 2 still?
Kava. I like that card. But yeah, Release from Evil just shuts that deck down.
Release from Evil, Vegeta's Final Flash.
Yellow just kind of shuts it down.
Yellow beats it outright. Green just has Dormant. Red has Topo. And blue can Trunks, I guess.
And the Bibbidi nerf.
And the Bibbidi nerf hurt it a lot too. Its defensive like capabilities are not good.
Yeah, not bad. It has 0 hand. Yeah.
So
2.5. It's still fast. If a deck can't keep up, it's gonna lose. But say 1.
I think it's 1.
I think 1.
Yeah.
We'll have to test a little bit more with that Oob blocker.
The Oob and the Gotenks. Gotenks.
And the
Gotenks.
Yeah, and the Gotenks too.
It's a 1.
Man,
So I think I do agree that a mono blue build is definitely tier 1, and that even a blue green build is still like 1.5. It's
Yeah,
still just consistently really good.
I might put Revive at 2, just because like just because having multiple colors doesn't benefit you. Like literally the plus you get from having multiple colors isn't as large as it is now, on top of the fact that being mono is like good for your other cards, if that makes sense. Like the blue green cards kind of have like the weakest color combination.
Yep.
Like the cards in blue green specifically are like the weakest of all the color combos.
We
I
need some
guess.
cool blue green arrivals.
Like
Better
we
than
do
our
have
20k blocker.
yeah. Like it's pretty good. It's just not, I don't know if it's great. Still just really good. You can make Zeno kill somebody. You can make Janemba a turn 3 double crit or triple attack or triple strike crit 25k. It's like, will you spend 5 cards or are you just gonna take this 3?
Pretty sick. I think Vegeto's really good. I think people kind of forget because it's a starter deck leader, but it's meh.
There's just a lot, like there's a lot of the blue cards that just kind of do the same thing, and so they just like blue. When you talk about blue, you just talk about blue in the format. You don't talk about Vegito. You just talk about Zamasu Vegito, about to be SS3 Vegeta,
Yeah.
and so
I think Vegito soon can have his own identity. Definitely with the Gotenks, with the
Unison.
SS3 Unison.
But that I'd rather just play that in Soul Striker, to be honest with you.
Oh, you're right. But Vegito with the Oob though too, that helps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oob, I think is really
We'll have to see, but definitely because blue and it's a good blue leader, it'll go 1.
Which leader is this?
Bojack.
I'd put it under 2 inconsistent, mainly because it's actually, I would say, argue it's more up to how if your opponent knows how to play against it than how well you know how to play it.
My rule at locals is I only will play you once with
one
Bojack.
game. You get 1 game versus Bojack, you're gonna lose. It's gonna be really unfortunate.
I'm
But
gonna
after
have
that,
fun.
But after that, you'll probably never lose again.
Yeah.
But like the new cards in the anniversary box, admittedly, are like really good. Especially the Bojack Galactic Commander, the 3-drop is just crazy.
Dude, my deck right now currently is like, I almost want to cut the small pirate engine just for like the arrival and that 3-drop. Like it's so good.
So, yep. Not a lot to say there.
Say 2.
Yeah, I want to put it at the bottom of 2 still.
Yeah. Because what's it get in this set for red? It gets Violent Rays is pretty good.
It gets a few things. I think what's really important is like it, other than like yeah, I guess other than Invoku, it has like the best surge abilities, and arguably it just has the best surge abilities, like outright.
Double
I
strike
think
on
it's
2 cards for free.
yeah, because you can combo. So people that aren't aware, you can combo a Champa in your drop area on a different battle card attack, and then the leader also gains double strike. So if you swing in with a crit on your board, and then you give it double strike, and then you swing with your leader, the leader is still double strike for the turn.
Yep.
So very powerful. Or like you're swinging in with your leader, and you just go Paragus, and you just do a Paragus for free.
And it's still, I think, yeah, it's still pretty solid. Set 11.
Devin and I were discussing this yesterday. Like a lot of the big problem is that I don't even think it's the big issue is that you're tied to like the red green package. I think it's because you're tied to red green energy. The only way to hard plus in the deck is with Chi-Chi and Goten.
Okay.
And Goten, you have to have a small hand, and you don't want to have a small hand a plus. Then you're looking at like green Gotenks, like draft box Gotenks leader.
Gotcha.
Bad. That's not good. But because you have to spend your first turn tapped out, which is already a pretty big detriment in a meta that every time they print an aggro deck, it goes faster and it goes taller. But then you also have to make sure that you see the Broly for turn 2 to start Chi-Chiing right away is pretty bad. But if you don't, right, you spend your first turn, because a lot of the multicolor decks are kind of like transitioning, and you've seen this in Bojack too. You charge yellow and then you charge blue yellow, and so you're not tapped out the second turn, but you're down in energy. You can't do that in Broly because that's one more turn without your Chi-Chi live. And when you're only using Chi-Chi 3 times in a game, missing one of those 3 times is really bad.
Yeah, we need more. If he gets a card like how Android 21 got that Android Super 17, where it's like if your
Like
leader's
free charge.
Broly, you lose your energy exhaust. Like that'd be awesome because
That would.
the fact that he needs 2 multicolor cards to get plussing
Mhm.
in his energy, like you would have to run some kind of burst package with the Angel energy to have a consistent
Double red green.
untapped red green to go with the Buddy energy and the Angel energy. Like I know some people did that with the Kyle Ken finisher, and they were running
Yes.
like the Popo
Right
that
away.
would
Popo and the
discard.
Gohan.
Like with the
Mhm.
God energy, maybe, but still 2.
It's
I think 2 still because that's a
turn
lot of
you
work.
have if you have to spend you have to so the key right there is right, you still have to have on turn 2 you need your Chi-Chis to be live. And so you can't spend your first turn with an untapped and have Chi-Chi live too, even if you do Angel Energy, because it's still just one turn, and then again, and then on turn 3 when you Broly your Angel Energy again, then it's live. But it's still not good.
Yeah,
Cards in the deck are pretty individually broken. I think we kind of all agree. Red Green has like the best arrivals. Now it has an arrival for green. If your deck tends to lean towards green,
in draft box. In draft box.
in draft box. Green has the cards that do stuff from the drop area. Comboing with Ribrianne to draw a card to live an attack and then not lose hand size and put a Ribrianne in your drop area is really good. Doing the same with Hasty Dispatch Dispo, really good. Powerful leader. Red Green is generally pretty good.
Red green's like almost one of the best color combinations. It's like almost there.
It's just really energy inefficient, and that's kind of its only problem. It
Yeah.
has everything else. It has the defense, it has the offense. It's just energy inefficient in a game where blue, yellow, and free reign. You can't have a red green color combo.
Bulma?
Hot take.
No, I was just
For
about to say
real?
the same thing. Like I agree.
Yeah.
She's
Like,
been
and I don't
consistently topping these events, webcam events, at least like 1 or 2.
like and even on the untap ones too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even a contention. I think it's like clearly 1.5. It's obviously not the best deck because there are decks that can just deal with it.
But
But there's just I can't in good faith put it in tier 2.
like we gotta talk about like the Earthling package is just super solid. Like any red Earthling leader and then just red deck in general, running
Just run
Earthlings, like
good Earthling
it's
stuff.
pretty solid. Because we saw that hit top, one of the webcam, was it Gen Con or just a webcam event? No,
Webcam
Untap. It was Untap.
Untapped,
That hit one,
yeah.
and it was basically just an Earthling package with some of the
Plus
skill lists
a
for
hit
hit.
leader.
Yeah,
Which is actually a good thing that you forgot, because we forgot to mention at the beginning. For people watching, these are not the only leaders that we think are viable or decent or whatever. If you think there's a leader, please talk about it in comments or in the chat. These are just the ones that generally we think people are going to play, people want to play, or the leaders that someone always brings to an event, like Set 7 Zamasu, Bojack, and Broly Set 1.
yeah. It's like if you were to go to a local, it's like right after Set 11, it's been out for a while, like a
What
week
could you
or two.
there?
Like this is what you'll probably see.
And then on top of that, I'm sorry guys, but there are so many blue leaders that are draw on both sides, untap 2 energy, and do something. I know. Every color has a bunch of those. Super 17 is like one, if there's a top 3 generic green leader in the game, maybe top 2, maybe even top 1 if you think it's better than Clash Coup. But it's not here because it's just not relevant. Because you can't include every blue leader that does that. You can't include every green leader that does it, because you have to kind of have a semblance of identity to be relevant. And so that's important.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, Bulma, red package. They get the bonus of being blockers, and
It gets a bunch of things, dude. Like, Moma can be run in a lot of ways.
Yeah, she can go late and drop Frieza. Like she gets there.
She's good.
All right. Unfortunately, I actually have to get going
Pop
here.
out.
Yeah.
No problem,
But
Devin.
good luck with the rest of this tier list. I'll probably keep watching. I'm just not able to give any more
Continue
input
on.
here.
No worries.
Thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Does this seem right? This seems right to me.
I think so.
That is
Or
a
not.
deck you guys have a lot more experience on than I do. Anyway, have a good one.
See ya.
Right.
Maybe
If the leader drew,
2.5.
I think if the leader drew on the front side like outright, it would be better.
Mm-hmm.
But like it doesn't plus you; it always just evens with your opponent, which is kind of a problem. And then the backside, basically the alliance effect is irrelevant now.
Yeah, we need
Um,
better alliance. Like I know that SS3 Gohan came out. Like this is probably the best leader for that deck, but since he's like a 4-drop, like gets cheated out very
and
hard.
you're a leader that wants to go fast, and you want to put them to turn 4.
Yeah,
Like that's kind of conflicting.
it's too much work to get it out super early. Like we have a video of our Super Burnhan Buhan deck that gets it out like turn 2 at the fastest, but like you have to see so many pieces.
Hmm. So I just can't. I don't think I can put it in 2.5. It's a leader we always have to look to because it has Saiyan and it has Earthling. The ability to put your opponent to 4, regardless of what they do, is really powerful. Because there are some leaders that are like, I'm gonna stay at 7 or 8 the whole game. Try me, and this leader's like, no, you aren't.
You know,
You
I think
have to go to
honestly
4.
we can go 2.5 because there's the fact there's the Bardock that can come out super early. You can play the
Hmm.
Bulma super combo like pretty consistently like turn 2 or 3.
I'll
Having
agree to
that
that.
live, and then like just any kind of Earthling package again, like even just like the low to the ground Earthling because you're
And now,
bursting, right? It's,
yeah, now you get to burst, so you don't even have to like combo away stuff. You just get to.
yeah, hit Yamcha the Lawless and playing like 1-drop Earthlings like Trunks crit and stuff.
Hmm.
It
Cool.
it can sneak some stuff out, but the consistency is not 100% there. It's just fast. Yeah, Robert's deck was pretty fun. Shout out to the aggro cell at
From Eggman, I think was the first one to
I think
make it that
Eggman brought it up. I know we talked about it in our set 9 discussion. No, we didn't do that, did we? We talked
way.
about it with the set 10
Egg,
multicolor.
Eggman
Eggman
started
brought it up
making it.
too.
He started making it, and he did really well. It's
Robert
really
at
cool deck.
Outcast Haven.
It's just like a really good leader, and I think what I really like about it is that you can kind of play like it in a sense has kind of become the new Surge Coup because you can play blue green, green yellow, yellow green, or yellow blue, and all of them are like good to find decks.
Yeah,
You can get away with just charging all green. You can get away with just charging all yellow and then like playing a couple good green or yellow cards. Having a green base is the easiest because you can play both of the apes at 4 and just run like that, and 4 time magic and be good. But
yeah. I think
yeah,
the super rare set 10 really helped it out. Set
all that card,
11, I don't think it gets any new
not really.
tools to play with, and then
Maybe
loses
Dark
out.
Agora and like getting to run Dark Broly, but
Yeah, if you're going the aggro build, like Broly will just run you over. I
I
think
don't think the aggro build is like the main one either. I
no,
still
like
think like the regular discard is strong. People really are still sleeping on like you can just dispo out a 1-drop and then you play the 9-drop cell and then you super 17 for free on turn 4, like for
yeah,
nothing. And then you awaken and use your leader skill and everything comes in rest mode, and then like you just can't lose. The ability to time lock your opponent like that is really good.
yeah. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I got GI Limo. It's fun.
I think
I think
I think that's here.
yeah,
I think it's better than these, but like not good.
it has the same problem where it's like it's basically with the new card support I got, it became alliance dependent now, like red green.
which is really weird.
Yeah,
But like some of those cards are just really good. The desire card is so powerful. It does a lot.
both desire cards, but
Mhm.
that is specifically to this leader.
It has like kind wish is just like the best in the game basically. It's a board wipe that ignores barrier and it just does nothing. It just costs a card in hand and your leader skill. Cool.
Yeah, I
Not
that's
a
not
lot to
much
say.
else. Yeah, it's nothing
Hold on.
new.
Let's grab both of these two. Let's grab both of them. So
Fair,
this one I'm
fair.
gonna put here. I'm putting this boy here. I don't think he's tier 1, but I think he is one of the most versatile leaders the game has ever seen because drop area effects are getting better. He has a great ability on the back that even if you don't use it, the threat of it being there makes your opponent play differently. They can't really just like establish a board freely. And then people really sleep on this, the difference between the two. Uh, bursting on the back is so good.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's kind of just it.
We
And then you get the early awaken.
that just goes back to our
Early
talk
awaken is
with
so important.
Broly, where the drop cards like Dispo and just always having more access to them.
Mhm.
Like that's good.
Ways to
Clash.
in
I'm sorry.
ways that aren't. Yeah, just basically a way to gain advantage without drawing cards explicitly is really powerful. So
Clash needs Krillins. If we get more better Krillins, sure. And
can't
like
really
it's
run Overwhelm because of the sparking.
yeah,
Um, but in Clash's defense, 20k double strike is really important. One, because we're going into a meta with lots of 20k unisons, but also the ability to close games and beat Kamehameha becomes much better in this deck.
yeah. And
Um,
sickest
the,
foil in the game, I think. One of them.
it and like Kid Ku have like the best foil leaders in the game.
Yeah.
It's really not close. I think one thing that's really important is the hand fixing on the front side. In Dredge Coup, when you draw Ribrians and Ape, you kind of just have to like awkwardly defend or attack with them, comboing.
Hmm.
But with Dredge Coup, you just kind of, or with Surge Clash Coup, sorry, you just kind of like swing lead, drop Roshi, draw 2, swing lead, drop Ribrian, draw 2. Like you set up your discard pile in a really nice way, while also still bursting. You just only burst 2. So the issue is you can't do that with Ape. You still have to drop Ribrians, Roshis, or dispose that way, and Krillins. So
Yeah. So where's he at? You had him at 2 or something, right? 2.5.
yeah, I think I gotta put him like
I think
here.
2. He
Maybe
he did actually just top PBG's tournament today.
like he's still really good. He's a
Yeah.
very generic leader, and then being able to untap 2 in a deck that plays Ribrian is really powerful. Like really
Yeah, you
powerful.
just 2 Ribrians on turn 2 if you awaken.
But I mean, more realistically, I think it's like a turn 3 or 4 awaken.
Yeah.
I just don't like having to go to 4. Honestly, now that I've been spoiled by playing Clash Coup a lot or Dredge Coup a lot, so I just go to. I'm like I awaken at 7 or 6, and I'm like, cool. Your 10k leader doesn't touch me.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
cool. And your opponent can stall you. I do not like that about Clash Coup. Your opponent can just like actively stall you, and then you just never flip over. If you don't
Oh.
see like a bunch of Gohans or like ways to self awaken, you just get stalled, and it's really bad.
Who's next?
Cool.
Cooler. I think a bit higher. He got some toys. We
He's
we
got some.
we were talking
I think
about running Janimba. He gets Jiren. What's he get
yeah.
this set? Anything
Um,
cool this set?
for those unaware, I think the best tool or some of the things that Cooler got is since it's actually kind of like an aggro deck that just also happens to have a win con of milling out your opponent. I think the Janemba Unison's great. One, because it puts 2 cards out of them if you decide to go the mill route. But if you're just going the aggro route, you're an extra crit and you're a blue Unison, so you can play Trunks because Trunks is not color, or the counter plays are not color leader locked. They are only Unison locked.
Yep.
So
And Janimba can't run Trunks 'cause he's so high cost. But Jiren can,
so
not Jiren, Cooler can.
Cooler can
So it's
still
fun.
draws a lot. as a leader, he just like draws 2 every turn.
I think an
Um,
issue that happened was because COVID hit like right after set 9. Like we didn't get to see too much of Cooler, so people kind of think he's a little lower than what
than
he
he
could,
is, yeah.
than he could be.
Yeah. This is
I
kind of
like it,
probably a hot take.
even with all the
Demeger's a
new
lot worse.
overrealm.
Yeah, he's a lot worse than he used to be.
Yeah.
Even just like a couple months ago. In set 9 meta, he was probably tier 2. Now he's got a lot of competition, even with how good his Magnificent Collection card is. Um, if you're trying to be an aggro deck, Regex and Majin Buu do it better.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be like hand control and Stally, Toa does it better. If you're trying to be value, Goku, SS4 Goku, and Dark Broly do it better.
I agree. Sad,
Wormhole.
sad for the boy.
Wormhole's
Yeah,
cool.
Wormhole's fun.
But like the issue is that you can't just like consistently wormhole like for free. Like it's not like activate main twice per turn. It's just like you do it once and that's it.
What do you mean?
Like the wormhole, like so wormhole lets you overwhelm twice in a turn for those that are unaware because it's been out of the game for a long time. But the issue is like you have to put cards in your drop twice to be able to do it. So right, if you're using your leader skill and you activate main, put 3 in there, and then you wormhole, or and then you overwhelm, and they're 3 back, and you played a 3-drop.
Yeah, you would have to.
The
I think
only way
like have to
you
run
have to like
3V
spend cards, or you have to run the gravy,
or
and
Goku ISR. It
Goku
makes it more
ISR. Yeah,
work for it.
it's a lot of work for like not that much reward because if unless you're playing 2 of the new like overwhelm 6s or like the overwhelm 7 cards,
That'd
it
be
just
great.
isn't worth it. It's not worth it to like spend all that deck space to get another overwhelm 3 card out.
Cool.
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 I wanted her to be higher, but I don't think I can.
I think her time will come with now that people know about the expansion set.
It's okay.
Um,
In fact, actually, I think I'm just gonna outright put both of them in the same tier.
yeah, they don't have a good way to end the game. That blue green Piccolo Gohan's good, not the best finisher. The Vegito Unison's fun, but none of the stuff in this set like
You
helps
can't
it.
play. You can't play Piccolo Gohan in self control either.
Yeah, I don't think any of the
So
new set stuff helps him too much because it's like very. This
no,
set's very archetypical. It seems like. So they didn't get too much help.
but they're like fine. They still have like some of the best defense.
Yeah, but
Um,
we have a guy at locals that loves playing the deck. Like the deck's fun for sure, and like the
draw.
strategy is unique. Blue
They
green,
both draw a lot of cards.
it's just because it's blue green, and I think we said earlier it's like one of the weakest color combinations.
Yeah.
Just because the cards that are blue green don't really do a whole lot.
Yep. Frieza for Frieza swap probably here.
Yeah,
Like, and it could push its way here because like when it's going, it's really tough to beat. But like all it takes is someone to stop you once, and then like it's kind of done. The leader in itself is honestly great. Self awaken draws cards. It's a 1-in-1 leader, and then the ability to like sensu bean yourself is really powerful. I think this is the kind of leader that wishes it was a blue leader.
I guess yeah. It did get more targets with the Broly SR or Broly BR stuff. Sorry, but
Yep.
they all need red Saiyan cards, so
Cool.
awkward. Red
Also,
Saiyan
like
leader, sorry.
the main card of the deck is like $40 still. Like mutatable menace is still very expensive. Mutatable. I
Yeah,
don't.
it they just need to reprint those at some point. Like just another wave of champ pack ones.
All right, ready? So this actually belongs in this tier, but we will rate it just because it's actually meta relevant. Um,
I
like here, maybe.
if it's rolling, it kind of has the garlic thing. If it's rolling, it's like it's rolling hot. And
Yeah, but
this is
garlic's rolling is like here. This deck's
yeah.
rolling is like
I was about to say
here.
it's rolling is like whole. Definitely with now green
Dark Broly.
green dark Broly unison. That's
It
oh
I don't know if you've seen, there are basically like two ways to play this leader. Is that there's the pod engine with Metacooler and just like I'm going to have more cards than you, or there's the slightly faster kill slash mid range aggro with Surprise Attack Frieza and Dark Broly, and then they run like the Frieza stuff with the Ball and Xeno.
Yeah.
And it's kind of neat because like you get to play Frieza's army stuff without spending energy, so you can like Broly and then not lose. It's pretty solid.
I think it's fun.
The issue is that in every build you have to see those cards. If you don't see Dodoria before turn 3, I'm sorry, you lost that game. If you don't own a playset of Metacoolers and a playset of Zarbon, or at least 3 Zarbon, I'm sorry, you lose the game.
Wait, are you still running Metacooler or Dark Broly now?
It depends on which one you're doing.
Okay.
I think the optimal list will probably be like a 3-3 or a 4-2 split. But Demigra is still super good in the deck, so it's kind of hard because you don't want to have that many dead cards.
Yeah. I guess like we'll see what pans out with. It could be meta relevant too. Of course, everything's meta relevant, but for sure, what if it's rolling, it is definitely like it's gonna win the game.
Yeah, if you let it get started, it immediately goes to here. But it's just a little inconsistent because you have to hard draw those cards. If you don't have a Frieza army to play, you literally can't plus, and you don't minus your opponent on swing. So sometimes you just don't get to start playing the game until turn 4 or turn 3, and it's just not a good look.
That guy
Uh,
with the successor build and even
I don't even think successor. I think just like good green.
I don't think
But
is it dead?
this is a tough one.
It is really tough.
Like it's clearly not trash because there are just decks that can't beat it.
Right, and like it goes so fast.
In a deck in a meta with 2 or more hand control ones, it draws 6/6.
At 2.5.
I can't put it that high. I'm sorry.
Can win
I can
some
put it at the
rounds.
top.
It can win rounds. Top of 3.
Top of 3.
Top of 3.
Because these are supposed to be like, when I say can win some rounds, I mean like you could go like 3-3 at a regional if you're like a good pilot. I don't think you could go 3-3 at a regional with Broly really as a good pilot, unless your opponent just didn't play during this meta, because I know this is tough to think about. This is half of the game's lifespan ago. This is 5 sets ago.
That's true.
5 out of 11. And since then, we've had draft boxes which are like sets, as opposed to the old draft boxes where it's just more
Well, we have
of the
theme
old
boosters.
sets. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's
So
what's it? Dormant potential hits it. A lot more counter plays for free now.
yeah, like if you just establish for Demikra and then you just Frieza, like you kill stuff, and like you can use those counter plays to prevent lines from going.
Meki Kobora just wrecks it. The
Yeah,
unison.
or the black card too. You can literally just say Broly 4 and then swing into the 10 drop or
Yeah.
the 1 drop, win.
Boo absorbs it. New Toa Dropbox. Just I know overtime it's at 11, but still like new Toa Dropbox
Yeah,
steal card for 4.
like
It's
there's a
rough.
lot of counterplay, but it can still go fast.
Yeah.
Broly go burr.
Especially at a locals, like it can do at like local level, it'll still do well. Like at local level, I say like it can go up to 2.5. Big event 3. Hate
So
it.
my issue is that since I want to put this here, I also want to put this here.
Yeah.
But since it's here, I will concede and just put it here.
No counters that
Preventing
cost 2 or
counterplays.
more.
Preventing counterplays is really big.
That's a lot. That's a lot more targets now than when it came out because that was just for Mafua basically.
I mean, absolutely trashes this deck right
Yeah,
here.
100%.
Absolutely trashes baby.
No Frieza counterplay. No.
There's a lot of stuff it just prevents, and then it draws so much on the front side.
Yeah, it's solid leader. Like, and then you're just gonna run the new Gogeta package, which we already talked about in our last video. find in the description in YouTube. It just plays so many cards, adds so many cards right away, and then that package is like turn 4 you play big dude. Actually, that one if you play in the new package you go 3. It good.
Yeah.
Golden
Uh,
Frieza 2.
uh, uh,
2. That new
you
stuff's
think?
pretty good. Free untaps for days.
Yeah, but I think the deck still relies on, if you're doing lemon lime, you have to rely on seeing Demigra in opening hand to not like get wrecked. I
I
will
can see
say, for
that.
those unaware, Zarbon is a Frieza's army that costs 2 or less.
Pop
Please
it.
use Frieza army, kill it, draw a card, and then your opponent drops a card. It's pretty good.
Frieza's call.
I don't know if I can put it in 2, man. Like, so here's the thing: is like you also have to like think about it in comparison to these other leaders. Golden Frieza is just like the decks for Golden Frieza are not as good as these decks.
Fair. Fair. Top of
Uh,
2.5. He can do well against a lot of these decks. Most of these
he's
decks in here.
he's just like a really good leader. If he just drew on the front side like for swinging, he'd be like actually
Imagine if he
busted.
got a reboot. Ooh.
I mean, that's fine. He could literally just. I don't think anything has to change about him except let him draw on the front, and
Yeah.
he's immediately a tier 2 or better leader.
Yeah, I like
Nothing
him
else.
there. Hatchy.
I'll put it here.
Yeah, he's definitely a 2.
Um,
It's hard to
I
tell
don't know if
because
you've
like with
seen
recent
so
meta,
yeah,
with like everything's online, webcam, shorter
and
times.
no one wants to play control decks in this world.
Yeah.
Here's another piece of little nugget for people listening. So everyone was kind of like, "Oh, Saiyan Scions are pretty good because they're 15Ks like every turn." Dude, Piccolo Unison in this deck is nuts. Like actually nuts. Because then if your opponent doesn't start killing it, like with Saiyan Scions, you just kind of ignore them. And yeah, it's a 15K, so it's annoying. But like if you ignore Piccolo at all, he's just like a 30K swing. And like he filters your hand, and so like that deck is gonna run 4 of the Majin Buu, like the drop and draw 2, and it's gonna run not even a scratches, and it's gonna run the 5-drop Hachiyak. So like you can just drop Hachiyak, draw a card.
Yeah.
Like it's real good.
What you said Devin was testing it, right?
Yeah, and it does really well. Like there
With
are
the
some
Piccolo?
decks that it has with Piccolo, yeah.
Okay.
Um, even without it, Saiyan Scions is pretty good, but Piccolo I think really helps it a lot. I think the big issue is that it's a black deck that doesn't have any options, and if decks that are a little more unison focused come out, it's tough. Like what do you do against Frieza or
AoE,
anybody
double
running
strike
Dark
crit.
Broly? Yeah, like what are you doing against those decks? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they don't count towards the swing, right?
No,
Yeah, they don't
unisons
even
don't
proc
count
it.
towards anything.
Yeah.
So, and then also decks are cheating out bigger battle cards sooner. So, like having an 8-drop isn't as hard as it was back then. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's still like best black control deck, I think.
Hercule. Uh,
Red Earthling package. Red Earthling package. Red Earthling
red
package.
red Earthling and then red blue.
Yeah, I think
Because you can
2.5 then.
people are running this with Gotenks unison, and it makes your leader be on par with the other leaders, and then you also get the extra draw. So you're actually like a 20K leader every turn.
Yeah. I
Pretty good.
think because of the red Earthling package you can go 2.5. Because the Baba
Uh,
play. Baba
no,
makes it so good.
I again, but man, you just got to look at these
I
leaders
think it can handle it pretty well up there though.
with Boo and
Maybe
Golden
not Boo
Frieza,
exactly, but like
and like
some of
I just don't
those.
like. I even want to move Cooler down. Now that I'm looking at it, I want to move Cooler down. I think you just have to remember this is like the kind of deck that a good pilot will go to an event and go like get 2 or 3 wins. but that's like at lower tables they're getting wins. It's not like they're able to beat like a great player with it.
Hercule though. Okay, fine.
And
Hercule into a
it's
meta with
red,
AOD
which is
though.
and it's a red leader, which is the worst color leader to be in the game.
Yeah, after image and Yamcha's good, but okay. Okay, fine. I'll concede.
Yeah.
But that guy can go down too. With the AOD matchup though, he has fun. Anything
Oh
that goes
yeah.
wide, like he does really well. But the problem with he
And
can't do wide tall like how Black Broly is, Dark Broly.
mhm,
But anything that goes wide, he does really well. This is why he was like really strong during
this
the Storm
he
meta.
would he would do well in this matchup
Yeah.
and this one and
If any mill shows up at all
two.
though, it's over. That's
Yeah,
why he
and
was
we'll
irrelevant.
we'll talk about Janemba right there. It looks like.
Cooler.
Um,
Oof. I think still one. I think Violent Rays will help the deck have
Violent
extra
Rays
defense.
shuts down this deck so hard.
Yeah. Invoker is just still super strong. Any new blue cards from this set help it? Like some of the extra counters, maybe. He has more floodgates.
You could, but honestly, you're just still gonna run Topo
Right. Topa's so good, but you
because
still
you
have
don't
more.
want to. You don't want to spend 3 on Gohan, even
Right.
if it's a better color to have, and you don't have to drop a card. Um, if you are running unisons for some reason, you do get access to Trunks. I don't really know what unisons you're running, but good.
Yeah. I think the option to sideboard more floodgates, like the trunks and the. No, you say you need units for that one. Never mind. The
But you can
go
still.
the
I mean, you can still pay 3.
yeah the Gohan Brainwash. Having those
Yeah.
options is really nice. Yeah, not much else to say about Invoker. It's just Invoker.
Jiren.
He's pretty fun.
Boo, 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 boo.
I think 3. Yellow good stuff is like I don't think it's that enough to push it. And his ability, it like was it you don't take
His
damage for the
ability is
turn.
really, yeah. His ability is really good. Some deck like against like Broly, you just can't take more damage.
Yeah, and like AOD.
AOD, you just can't take
What's he
Gotenks,
lose
you
to
just
again?
can't take.
He loses to
Low
attrition.
burial remover, which is why he became worse because Cooler and Broly were meta. When I say Cooler, I mean Tyrannical Assault and the Broly Surge were both pretty relevant, and so they had barrier removal, like low barrier removal, really easy.
Yeah.
But that's not really the case anymore. And on top of that, we have all 3 color combos are meta relevant, like for the quote unquote Jiren meta. Blue now even has the Dispo Supersonic Subversion or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It
No,
has Sensu Bean. Just being blue yellow is good. The leader still free plays stuff. He still draws and self awakens. He can play red yellow with like actual topo and the draft box 5 U11. Green yellow is the one that it came out with, and then mono yellow good stuff as just like a I'm going to time lock you for 3 turns leader is really powerful.
and he's a leader that can actually like get to Mechikabura outside of like because of his ability, he can get to turn 4 to Mechikabura.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's
he can
just
go
like
up. He can go up. Yeah.
I really think he's like a tier 2 or
Yeah.
2.0. Sorry.
I think now that like the meta's a little easier for him to come into, and also set 9 pandemic
He,
like
mhm.
doesn't
He
give
does
you a
also
lot of play.
require you to be he requires you to be a good pilot to like keep your dudes like to risk assess how many dudes you can put out, which I think is really important.
Yeah, he'll
But
lose
also like
to
yellow has just kind of been on a slower decline, and Gotenks is generally just a better leader than him.
yeah, he'll still lose to super fast like early game because like it's only on
And
your awakened side, right? Yeah,
yeah.
you gotta have a guy on
Well,
board.
so you gotta have a guy on board, which is actually so against like Broly, like Awakened Demon, um, he just like gets to 4 and then he just picks up that 1 life. and then he gets 3 total turns because you can't deal crit. So like you could rip their hand still, but that basically just means they choose cards that they're not going to play on their turn, and then they just get them all back.
Yeah, so he does well against that matchup. Loses
And
to
like
Invoker really hard
he
because
does lose to Invoker pretty hard.
that's not battle.
Probably does okay against Gotenks because
Green,
Gotenks' barrier removal is like spending 3 energy to play the
yeah.
5-drop Gotenks,
But then you can just
which
like
is
side in AOD Vegeta, blow up the board, kill.
that's true.
Yeah, and if you're ripping hand
But,
too, less cards to play.
but yeah, like it's but there are meta relevant matchups where it's like actually important.
Yeah,
I would argue this Goku, the Vegeta is just like you can't take tag, so they can't ramp at all. Um,
I if it's super fast early aggression, so Majin Vegeta will beat it because you'll awaken at 4, and like before you
mhm,
establish any board, you're already like down to your three
to
turn.
your 3-turn town. Yeah.
Yeah,
See, like this, like I'm telling you, like he's good. He's maybe not broken, but he's good.
yeah. No, I think people need to play it again, and of course, like people didn't get to see it flourish during set 9, where it could have got more
Mhm.
play when it was more new.
Uh,
The yellow good stuff for it's pretty good. I
yeah, that
think,
list
yeah.
that you and our locals player James put together is pretty solid. The leader is just still so held back by the fact that
Mhm.
you have to play U6 stuff.
Yo, if we needed a
Um,
reboot Surge leader, here we go.
yeah,
That and the errata ones, of course.
this boy right here, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Um,
U6 is a good
it's
tag. Saiyan's a great tag. Blue, yellow are good color combinations. The
I
fact that
mean,
she just
they
didn't
were. I
draw.
think they were just being careful because D Magic plus Raiders Warcry is
Ooh,
stupid.
feels great.
Is stupid. It is stupid.
You have Aegis
Um,
also. Like, you always have energy up. But the fact you could
the
have.
Bojack helps a lot, dude.
Oh, Bojack's so good in the deck. But also, you can have, let's see, 12 Zamasu. Not 12. 10 Zamasu super combos in your deck.
Hmm.
You,
Very powerful.
you're not going to die fast.
Yeah, cool. So people that haven't done this, look into like a blue yellow good stuff build with Bojack Arrival, hit Goku hit Arrival,
I
and then just spamming Kefla the free fusion,
Yeah,
brilliant pairing I think it's called. Um, and like you just swing a bunch with 19k attackers, and then you play both apes and D Magic and Sensu Bean.
it's fun. It's actually a really fun deck now. It used to be like
Yes,
garbage. Now it's fun.
it was like garbage and not fun. Now it's like pretty bad, but now it's really fun to play.
Yeah, and it did top a
Uh,
card market event, but I want to see how they played it because they had 0 U6 cards in it that free
this
played.
is tough, man.
I think
Like I almost want to put it in one, but I don't think I can. I think I'm gonna put it higher than these two though.
yeah, because of the red package it has, the anniversary box support. In this set, it had a bit more yellow skillus added to it that you could support.
Because the I am the world champ card is nuts. 1 energy draw 2.
Hmm
Yeah. And
Is
then you get access to a Nimbus, so
is the skill drain yellow leader
you
specific?
wouldn't is it the skill drain what?
Is it yellow leader specific?
No.
Okay, so you can potentially run that.
But you just wouldn't run the skill drain part though, because you want to keep your Android 8er
Oh, you're right.
live
You're
still.
right. You're right. But the what did they add that's good for this? The 6-drop higher dragon, I guess you could run, or is that you need the
You
yellow leader?
could. No, it doesn't require
It's
yellow
just
leader.
yellow skillless cards.
Yellow skills cards.
Hmm
Like it's pretty good. You have to have 3 or more energy. Like I still think the red is still the way to go, but I'm sure yellow is probably tier 2 or better.
Even red, yellow, but I think the
You don't
leader,
want to.
this leader will
Yeah,
always be like up here. I think because how much value
he
he gets.
yeah, he draws on the front. There are the games, and people that play this leader know there are the games where you don't have a ball and you don't have a Goku, and you just immediately lose. Like if you don't see it by turn 2, you just lost the game because you've lost the value. Skillless has to be a deck based off of the number of cards in your hand because inherently you don't have options because you are skillless.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Slug. I wish we could talk about the draft box card for this tier list, but I think, yeah, I think a little higher.
3. You think higher?
Good pilots, man. Ooh,
Yeah,
Devin,
for
and
sure.
shout out to my buddy Klinger.
And that guy who got top 4 at that one event. I think the leader is still really good.
Crit
And
on
now
the
you can
front.
attack unisons to draw rather than having to swing at their leader to give them a card.
Mm-hmm.
The cards, because it used to be like I just have more cards than you, so I'll drop and you drop, and now, right, I'm at 5 and you were at 3, so now it's 4-2, which is better. But now you're just like, I'm gonna drop this Roshi, I'm gonna drop this Riprian, I'm gonna drop this Ape. You drop a card as well, please, and then you
Yeah.
use the card.
Green unisons are
So
the strongest unisons in the game. Like all of them.
Demigra lets you help get awakened right away. You can play Metacooler to retain advantage. You can
I
play
think it keep Bond
Vegeta
up
for more
too.
crit pressure.
If it's not, I think are they all Bond Slugs Army or just there's a couple Bonds I
Bond.
think.
They're just Bond 2.
The
There's a couple
the
regular bonds, but then Anguilla is Bond to
but
Slug.
leader Slugs Army.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like yeah, okay, yeah. So that you basically have Bond live the whole time with Metacooler.
There's a minimum slug package to be able to play this leader efficiently, but it's not like
It's not bad.
crazy.
Oh, it got a little better if you want to do the AOD package. Little blue green and then run like Hashiak, grab the one drop. But
Good video, and
that
then you get to play it.
Babidi played like you can play the with wings out too. You can play the AOD for one. But
Is he one green specific?
yeah, no, it doesn't matter. You have Babidi.
Oh yeah, because then it becomes
But what you don't have to care about that anymore after draft box though. That's gonna get overpowered with green yellow. But set 11 with that combo still not bad. It'll be fun to tinker with. You thinking?
yeah.
You can run. It lets you run Android 13 pretty well too.
I agree. Interesting. All right. Slug is
Man,
cool.
Slug is really cool.
There.
Yeah, because it's red.
Just requires a really good pilot, and like Yamcha the Lawless in this deck is like stupid.
Yeah, Earthling
But
package.
I'm gonna fix this tier a little bit. Uh, yeah.
You can go. Is he above the 21s?
I I
I
don't think
think
so.
no.
No,
Yeah,
because even
yeah. He's
he's
good pilot. He's super good pilot dependent too.
yeah.
Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Cool. So
Pan.
Pan's here because it's good, like the best generic red leader in the game.
That's about it.
Cool.
Nothing too new this set. Violent Rays. Maybe some Union shenanigans with Gotenks. I don't even know.
Really cool that the Gotenks Unison, if you decide to play it, self awakens for you. Something the deck really needed.
Oh, the expansion Gotenks. Gotenks
Yeah,
Adolescent Unison. Yeah.
yeah, super good
Yeah.
for that.
Good shit. Good shit.
Um, cool.
He used to be a thing. We don't have
Just
to. Let's just not talk about it.
could have just attacked on swing. Bandai, like Surge Coup is like like we'll go and grab him real quick because he's like significantly worse than he used to be. But why, Bandai? You actually made this leader like a bottom 5 leader in the game, and that's next to like set 1 leaders that don't draw.
It's yeah, because blue, like we said, blue green is like one of the worst color combinations, and he can't. He doesn't even care about blue green. Like
No, he was really good because he could just play all the best regular blue cards and all the best regular green cards, and then like there were a couple good blue green cards, but now he's just bad. Sucks. Um,
I don't think he's too high. Go 2.5.
Yeah. If he had his errata, he'd be back to like bottom here or here. But he got errataed, and so can't defend himself very well. As soon as he flips over, he's kind of just like a sitting duck. I hope you win that turn.
Yeah. Red yellow is still a good color combo. Red yellow is a decent color combo. And then the fact that you could go like 3 colors with this really easily.
Yellow really helps cover up red's energy inefficiency and hand size. And then red helps cover up like yellow's ability to deal with stuff. So
I think also
cool.
to point out, surge leaders lose out on the free unison combos or counters.
Which honestly it's only relevant for like green and red,
Yeah.
because the blue one is like straight unplayable, and then yellow is like sideboard / maybe 1 or 2 in the main because of some certain leaders that we'll get to soon.
Yeah, but the
You
fact you can't play
little devil.
can't play Wolfang Fist or Breathe Some Evil on this one.
Dormant.
It's like dormant on
Yeah.
green. Yeah.
It does kind of suck, but it's not that bad. Also, I talk about this like every week at locals. I think this deck is probably like its best build is probably still just blue red and then like 4 of each ape and 2 time magic. Like that's probably the single best build this deck has, or like 2 Zamasu super combos.
I can see it.
Like it, that's probably just the way. Like it's super good.
Pilaf.
Ooh, then you could actually run Goku Hit as well if you're charging blue red.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to tinker that a little bit more because that gives you more yellow cards and you're still arriving for an energy you actually have. Cool.
I think
So
2.
2.5. No, I don't think I can put it with these ones. Oh,
Actually, yeah.
maybe I could. Maybe it's because we got these guys a little high. To be honest with you.
Yeah, Surge. I think that's fine. I think that's good. Clash maybe can go, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Pilaf is really great.
No,
Just
I
because
can't do it.
he baits out so much. And then
And then we can't talk about it yet, but the giant force slug will be really good in this deck.
yeah, the fact you have Jiren, like if they don't stop your wide on 3 and you Jiren and like 3 double strike swings for
They just start
25, like 20 or 25? 20? I think gain
20.
5.
They just
I'm
start.
thinking sell.
No,
Not
he
sell.
doesn't.
I'm thinking
They're just really far behind.
yeah, it's like it's fun. Like
So.
deck's super fun. Deck's like you'll see this a lot at locals, I bet, because the deck's budget as hell. Does what red wants to do really easily. It's just like it's in that awkward state where like its main engine wants to wait till turn 3 to go off, but everything can go off like turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, like we said, like later on, once we see more draft box and do like a draft box tier list, it could easily go up. I'll let you talk. You have the way more.
The tools we got from the anniversary box are pretty good. Frost is either like the best card in your deck or like the worst card in your deck. When Frost is good, it is nuts.
Yeah.
You just plus, and then if you're like your opponent doesn't deal with it, like a Invoker's a bad option because Invoker just trashes this deck. But like against I'm just trying to think, like Dredgeku doesn't really apply enough pressure to kill its unison right away. Frieza hand control doesn't. Honestly, Vegito doesn't. So like decks where it can like establish itself and it goes to like 3 or 4 markers, then it like becomes too much of a hassle to remove. It does a lot of work because it just like draws a card every turn, and then when you're finally ready to kill it and replace it with like a Jiren unison, it draws a bunch because you're just like -2, grab 2 more Wolfang Fists, -2, grab another Live to Fight. The deck also just like shuts out decks that play only little boys and girls. I think like AODs, if you make it to that 3rd turn, which honestly is pretty likely because you can just like kill the cards while they're playing them, It's really hard to lose. Uh, but like, what does it do against Baby? Because it's finishing the game plan can't beat babies, but babies can beat it because of counter counter.
Mhm. I
Um,
think what also point out that with green, how it is in this set, having all the anti-unison marker removal, like I think the well, what's his name? Like in Frost Unison, really bumped it up to tier 3. Like easily could have just sat at 4 or bottom of 3,
mhm.
but
But
probably
he's like
4.
pretty clearly like 3 slash if red just gets a slightly better way to cheat in a good card, he could go up. And I think there's the option you could start running Frieza Fairweather Fiend from the expansion box. Basically Raider's Warcry once you have a unison with a cost of 2 in play. The issue is that the deck's curve is kind of wonky because turn 1 you want to like just negate something. And then turn 2 you want to establish a frost unison. In turn 3 you generally want to live to fight if you're going second, or play defense on the turn on that turn, because a lot of turns are either going off on their turn 4, or they're trying to kill you in an aggro way on turn 3.
Hmm. I can agree.
So not having to draw on the backside while still attacking is really good, because you do like nearly deck yourself out with this leader every game. um, Also, you get the auto counter. So against things like Baby, even though I said it was a tough matchup, you do have a way to negate attacks even when you don't have much cards in hand, or like the counters exist, whatever. Not trash. It's just not very good.
Right. Ready?
Um, it's really close.
It's getting there.
It needs like 1 card, 2 cards. The leader itself is just kind of really holding back the rest of the deck. Um, for
Doesn't
those that are
draw.
unaware, the Magnificent Collection brought erratas that said when you play this card, if your leader's erratas, you can pick up a life, or you can draw 1 card for every 2 non-black cards in your opponent's warp.
So
I
good.
have played against people playing erratas, and they will just play that card and draw 4 or 5 cards. If you're running any amount of Overwhelm before like your kill turn, or if you're playing like a green hand control deck or something like that where you're using stuff from your drop, you just let them draw like 4 or 5 cards for 1 energy and 1 body. It's crazy.
It's yeah. I'm hoping with the announced expansion stuff with the Nappa Cybermen, like
We'll see. Yeah,
or reboot later.
it's
But
pretty close. Like,
it
and
just needs
and
some better targets for its searching also. But
it
it
is
searches Vegeta's, so that's good.
yes, it's getting better because of like just some of the general cards. One, Ribrianne is a really good addition to the deck. But
Hmm.
things like Android 18 Super Combo are really good, as well as specifically I think Remote Serious Bomb is fantastic. You remove a threat and you get to draw a card when you do go to play your dude. Becomes a lot better.
It does also can grab that tournament pack Majin Vegeta. If it's a 1-drop.
Interesting.
That's actually pretty
But
good.
it has to have you have to have the Vegeta leader to awaken. It just becomes a 15k double. You don't really want to give your opponent the leaders or the power. So
Oh, true.
we'll
Yeah.
see.
More green
Uh,
Vegeta supports, and that's good.
cool.
Yeah, too inconsistent.
For anyone that has not played the deck, it is quite fearful to look at a hyper rush on turn 2, especially if you're going second.
With how many cards in hand, Dane?
It's like 15 cards in hand.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's a lot of cards. They've awoken and like they just start pounding your face in with like a 25k triple strike every turn. But if they don't see a Vegeta or a Goku or the 5-drop Vegito, they just kind of lose because their leader doesn't awaken. It doesn't draw on the front side, and then like the cards that they're playing, there is the new blue Vegeta from set 10 that is like pick up a life double strike, and that can kind of apply pressure. But there's not really that way for Goku, so like you're just kind of stuck with mediocre cards.
Yeah, and set 11 doesn't give it any new toys really. None of the Vegetos are 35Ks, which would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
No, Violent Rays is again you can run Violent Rays, which is nice to survive, but the deck doesn't really need. It's not looking for that. Cause
It's looking for consistency measure.
yeah,
It needs like a Dawn of Evil style card where it like tap an energy and then you tutor for it, and if you find
yeah.
it, then
And what really sucks is that all the support was BR.
mhm.
Because if you could use, you could use the no, this Union Fusion, not no.
For which card?
You can play the Skilless, but there's no good Skilless targets. I think for this
Yeah,
reason.
yeah. They're trying to be careful.
Yeah.
So
Baby
cool.
Vegeta. Um, he's
He's just a
sneaky.
really good generic leader.
Yeah, he's sneaky. That super aggro build is
I think
pretty
I should move
interesting.
this down.
Yeah.
As I started to see these leaders, I think I got to move that down.
Hmm.
But yeah, that super aggro build is really neat. But then that build specifically goes here.
Yes, you have to see so much early. I put
But go
yeah.
ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
I was just gonna say, but the regular engines that this deck can run are still really powerful. Um, I think one thing that people are kind of sleeping on is, and I mentioned this in our card review of Set 11 Blue, this deck could now play red blue because it was already playing red yellow just for the other baby targets for the yellow one. But now you could do red blue and you get access to Sensu Bean and Cooler Beerus super combo into Cooler, and you get to play the new baby counterattack that at the very least is still also a negate attack in your hand. So it's like a one drop baby that you can absorb, or it's a counterattack.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I think yeah, that was definitely needs to see some more test and play if it does do well and goes up or not. But right now, I think right away 3 is good for it. Yeah, yeah. Vegix is still a thing.
But that's like it, because I think if Vegex wasn't a thing, I think it would be 2-2. Because it would trash this deck. It would trash this deck. Uh I don't actually remember how it did in this matchup. It would probably beat this deck. It'd probably lose to these two, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Oh, actually, no, it beat this one. It beat this one.
yeah. It beat Bulma. Overround.
It would beat Bulma. It might lose to this overround, but it would probably beat this one.
Yeah, it beat AOD for sure. AOD draws so much.
Like it would do really well versus a lot of these decks. I mean, it obviously doesn't beat Hachiak, but
Yeah, just because Vegix is
Vegex exists, and Vegex is going to be here. So like,
especially in like North America meta, like he's so popular.
because he's so cheap, you can build the deck basically for 2 starter decks and like a couple rares in the set, and then Champas. It's
Yeah,
really crazy.
it's really weird to put Janima in the 2 inconsistent because all the inconsistency is just matchup. 100% just like what's the matchup?
Like these, like this one is like a player slash opponent knowledge and consistency, and these two are like if you have the starting hand, you can go off. If you don't, you lose. But Janemba is so weird just because if you sit down from most of these decks, the better player is going to come out on top. But
But then Vegix.
Vegex is, and I know people want to say, oh, a couple people might say that they like the Janemba Unison helps, and it did. It doesn't do enough. And like the second they shuffle their deck back in because you've been milling them, then the 15 cards or less in deck becomes less relevant again because then they're not at that card, and so you can't gain triple.
Right, and then do you have to go back to mono blue basically? So you lose out on a
That's
lot
if
of tools.
yeah, that's to beat Vegex,
Yeah.
and it's tough. I think they should have just banned this leader instead of Bibbidi. Hot take for anyone that doesn't listen. That's what my thought was.
Probably said 12 because then they don't have to print any more of the starter decks.
but they won't do it because it's a starter deck leader. Because Bibbidi was like a 21k combo in every other deck. In this deck, it was like 32,
It was gross.
and it was just immediately a 32. So
Do we just want to get him out of the way quick since he's right there?
yeah, he's tier 1, probably below Vegito.
Yeah, more
Definitely
floodgates.
above.
Vegito has more blockers now. Black got some more tools with having unisons for counters, but I don't think you'll run them in this Vegix too much.
No,
You have a good
Like
sideboard card now.
the only thing that has changed from the previous builds is that your sideboard cards are a lot better because you get to run the
Hammer.
tournament pack Goku. You get to run Man on a Mission for like more pressure. You get to run the Bardock Overrealm to just stall a turn. Um,
I think other matchups, like newer matchups, I think he does fine still against the newer matchups.
like I have been having troubles beating him just consistently with a lot of decks.
I still need to try it with Broly. Did you try Broly versus it?
Like set 6 Broly, if in a best of 3 it can't win
Set 11
because you
Broly.
just set. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In a best of 3 set 11 Broly, you can't win because you just topo.
Yeah, okay.
And so you can't win. Sucks, but that's how it is.
Yeah, so he's not the best anymore, but he's still up there.
You just get too much.
Plus,
Every leader is all of these leaders are like at best a +2 on the front, and this leader just like +4s.
yeah, plus it's kind of weird, like comparing like the card market tournament and some of the European webcam events, like don't have that much Vegix compared to like our events.
North America. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe
I
it's
don't know.
just it could be just a stylistic thing. It's pretty easy to pilot. Yeah. It has some fun
It's
green unisons.
better than announcer though.
Announcer
The
trashes
green
it.
in dormant,
Dormant,
or
yeah.
not dormant. You get dormant. You get Ribrianne now. You can still sell Kamehameha.
Frieza.
You can sell Xeno really easily off of Frieza because of the Supreme Berserker into Frieza, and so you
Mhm.
don't necessarily have to run mono. You just have to run mono green. But then if you like burst or have to drop your cell Xeno, you do lose. So,
Okay.
it's fine. People just are really obsessed with this leader, so
Broly.
putting it at the bottom of tier 1.
I do not disagree.
It has a really hard time with deck, but I was doing even or winning with this deck. I haven't played. This one is going to be a weird because I haven't play tested against the set 11 version, but I did beat all the set 10 versions I played. This was a pretty hard matchup, to be honest with you. This was fine if I saw Obuni early enough.
Yeah, I could see that.
Um,
Like I feel like it does the build you showed me, the blue, yellow.
Not even blue yellow. It's just blue, and then you
Ape
run
like
Baby
crazy,
Unison,
and
Ape
Hatchy,
like crazy, Hachiak.
turning tide.
Uh, you basically just make it to turn 5, and then you can't lose
Right. The only issue
because
with
you
that is once best of threes happen, and then if that turning the tide finisher is still like the only way to win, then that
Jiren comes
Jiren
in.
counterplay comes in, and everyone just runs 4 on their sideboard,
Mhm.
and you lose.
So, yep.
I think he's like the same thing. He can go up more, I think,
I don't.
because he's
I don't
like
think I can put him.
no,
I can't put him in.
not past beyond that. Just because the early ramp is nice, he can
Put him there.
he basically could play like the same kind of game plan and like as Soul Striker reboot.
Where you just go for the stall, but you
Yeah,
can't. You don't get the um Android 17, but it is the best deck undoubtedly to play SS4 Vegeta in. You just pay 6, draw 4 cards, establish a 30k blocker, and then untap 3.
yeah, like
Which crazy.
yeah, and I like yeah, and the blue stuff like it's just blue. The blue package is just insane
real
right
issue
now.
is just like it can't beat hand control and it can't beat aggro at all to save its
Yeah.
life. It just can't because you lose cards active. It is the only leader in the game to make you actively lose cards on the front just playing the game.
But I
Even
think it's that build like totally stomps any of the decks below it.
a
That's
lot of these decks are just shut off because they're a little too slow, and so it puts up itself, and then it can't lose.
yeah.
Sure.
And Go Tanks.
hmm
Go Tanks SS
Hot
Unison.
take. Hot take.
Do it. Do it.
Hot take. This deck is still schnice, guys, and this leader is just generic. So you can just you can. I saw Jose Mercado like in the invite event, like the $1,000 invite.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, yeah, you
Just
talked about it.
ran yellow green, and it was just like good yellow green stuff. And I was like, all right, yeah, okay. Because the leader just self awakens is dual attack, and then on the backside he's dual attack again.
Yeah, this is the starter deck one, right?
Yep. Even just the regular baby package, yeah, it has more answers than it ever did before. But like, there are just going to be decks that don't have answers.
He
Like,
does well versus Unisons.
mhm. Like it's just a pretty good deck, and it also gets to play a little bit more mid rangey now because it doesn't have to worry about itself. Um, and then it still has yellow and red, so you get 2 different floodgates if you need them. Plus, you're a yellow leader, so you can run Zamasa super combo.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I won't
Graceful Charity.
disagree.
Good.
Can it? Because there's a lot more brainwash cards. Does that matter too much, or is that too? That's too much,
No,
isn't
so
it?
that's actually the other leader.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Um,
right. I was getting confused. I haven't
but
played Big Book too much.
I did think about putting in there, but I just wasn't.
No.
You don't want to play those cards.
Sin.
Uh,
I still think bottom one, top of 1.5, just because that new Netrion's really good.
I think I'm gonna put it in. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it at the bottom of one because I think it's gonna have a pretty good matchup with quite a few match. Like, I think it's one of the few decks that might actually be able to beat Broly. Um,
And it was already
it
doing really
it does
well.
well. It does well against this guy and can beat Vajax. It doesn't. It actually it probably beats Vajax now that they don't have Bibbidi, so they can't just like infinite combo you.
And what did it get instead of 11? It got Ice, which is
Got
the
Ice,
Ice
which for
counterplay.
hyper consistency, and it's a new name. And then it got all the Natrons for like when it does get to turn 6, it's really easy to kill you.
Dude, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, the Natron from the tournament pack is just totally busted.
Yes, it's like a double strike, and then something else happens. I can't remember.
I'm trying to find it. Naturon Shenron winner card. Cause that it's a winner card. There
Yeah,
he is. I found him. I found him.
yeah.
Double strike, evolve for 1. If your leader is yellow, when your opponent plays a battle card in unison, you may choose that card to switch to rest mode. And
That's
negate
so
their
nuts.
skill for the turn. That's not
Well, I
once
mean,
per.
you were already doing that with the 9-drop.
No, negate this skill for the turn. My bad. I was about to say that's
Oh,
not once per
this
turn.
skill.
Yeah. But you just rest whatever battle card or unison you're playing for free.
Mhm. So very good leader. Sorry that it's on the front side for anyone that's actually still watching or listening, but oops.
Dane
Team
messed up.
Gohan. Team Gohan should go here because yellow exists, but in actuality, it's like here. Maybe. See, that's why I don't want to. Because do you really think Green Vegeta is a 1.5 deck if Gohan's here?
No, he'd be next to Vegeta because they're almost the same.
That's why I think he's a tier 2 leader. To be honest with you.
The thing with the Goku Gohan is that it can just lose the game on it if it tries to go too hard and like loses out. But Vegeta could just like take it back.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
So I think it depends. Yeah, like Gohan Goku can end the game faster if it really wanted to, and then Vegeta can
It's really
it
just
can put
when
on
you're
some brakes without
if it runs into any yellow, you just kind of lose.
kind of lose. Yeah, release
So,
from evil. Oof. This is a
uh,
man that missed his time to shine.
yeah, he really did.
The fact that like the expansions came out during COVID shutdown in the US, like, and I think most of the world, like, no events got to see this guy like be the top tier deck because he easily, I think, between set 9 and 10 could have
Could
been a
have
top
done
tier
work.
deck. Like he could have been
Yeah,
tier 1 easily.
because it was before every deck had unisons, and it was just like
One battle card play per turn.
that shuts down a lot of stuff.
It shuts down
Means
like
no
all these decks.
every deck that isn't Surge Piccolo at the time near the top tier, or no, because even it beats Cell, because Cell wanted to play like multiple cards to Successor, and Broly wanted to usually rival two different things in a turn. And I'm trying to think about what else was in the meta. It would have lost to like Team Gohan, but
I think you can move him the top of tier 2. Well, no, because those guys are
I don't
leaders. Those leaders can kill him. That's right.
I
He's
don't
fine.
think I don't think he's better than these two. He might
No,
even be a little worse than Baby and Dark Broly,
no, he stops Dark Broly. Dark Broly gets one play a turn.
but that's a 1-to-1.
Well, you play the one drop Broly, Black Broly, and then you can't use the
Oh,
ball.
you right.
Yeah, you're just like
That's funny.
what do you do? And then you're playing
Yeah.
like yellow, which is like super defense, and then you just win with your unison.
Hmm.
Like
So
Topo, I want to see Topo decks more. That leader's so
high
cool.
key good.
He just doesn't do well against the decks above it. He could beat Shinron. They only play one card.
You know what? I think I'm gonna do that. That just
Barely.
feels right. Just barely. But it
Barely.
just feels better. Because there's a reason it's in every top eight. Even if it's just one spot. It's in all of the top eights.
Yeah. Topo, I think, could almost go up just because of the fact he does really well versus Broly also. Almost. He
Almost.
needs to hit his unison pretty quick. He has to hit his unison and not
He's just
have
a
it die.
yeah. There are just going to be decks that he's gonna really struggle with, like Frieza. Frieza does not care.
Yeah, Frieza don't care.
Dredgeku, I'll just rip your hand. I don't care.
I think any of those
Um,
don't care. They're just all
most
once
of
per turn cards.
like it does well against Vegeks, and it's gonna do well against
Sin.
Sin because they can only do they don't get their big explosive turn. Gonna
Broly.
not do great. It'll do well against this one because it can't Obuni.
Yeah, and you can't swap too much with Broly.
But like this deck doesn't care. This deck doesn't care. This one doesn't care. This one really doesn't care. It cares a little if you're running like the Spikes Bandages package, but
Mhm.
overall decks don't care. Vegeta doesn't care. Gogeta doesn't really care.
Everything behind it though, it does really well against.
Yep.
AOD, like what are you gonna do?
Cool.
Toa, you had
I don't
Toa.
think I don't think that's a hot take. I think it's just at the very, very top of 2.5. I could see it going to 2. I've play tested it with the SS4 Unison. That card is stupid.
You can
It
move
is
it the
stupid.
bottom two then. I think it
But I
still
don't
can do well.
I
It's still like it's like you said, it's a like you've said before, it's a high
it's a
ceiling.
really high ceiling.
Very
But
high
I just like
ceiling.
look at the decks above it, and the only decks it can beat like Pilaf if I have Protector of the People. It'll beat Hachiyak, it'll beat Cell. But like it's gonna lose to basically all of these other decks.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Maybe it could beat Dark Broly or Topo.
It got more Toa and Mira targets, but they don't really help it too much
Yeah.
because they're very Dark
The
Broly
two
focused.
drop was such a blessing. That two drop Mira.
Oh yeah.
And then having just better Toa targets is really useful too. Because we have the tournament pack one and the new super rare. And so like when your opponent drops cards on purpose, like they drop like Goku Apes and Ribrians, and you're like, okay, shuffle it in.
Yeah, it definitely it's been keeping pace with those kind of improvements, but or else they would just be down to tier 3.
Also better at a slow game now because you can self-awaken with the Vegeta.
True.
Like it's really close to here, but I can't in good confidence when I look at these leaders in tier 2 put it on the same one. Like yeah,
Yeah. Trader Dende. Yeah.
don't tell anybody. Cuz people think it's like here or here. Don't tell anybody, guys, but it's really not very good.
Wish needs some love.
Maybe I could put it here.
Yeah, because it still does its job well of like combo disruption. It
But
has the new toys with the ball.
but follow our logic here. Look at the other leaders in this
Yeah.
on that row, and you know what? I'm doing it.
That's fine. It's
Stop.
fine.
But I look at these leaders. See, like when you're dividing them, the more leaders you add, you're like, oh wait, no, maybe these have to be more defined. So
Nah, yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah. You can't even like fit yellow good stuff in there too easily because it's just like,
yeah, you could maybe put in like 2 Raiders Warcry just to have them, 2
yeah,
or 3 just
like doesn't
play
do
it. But
much. Like, what does it do for you besides
the
just being
big,
Raiders Warcry?
I think that the big thing is that this deck is maybe one of the best users of the Vegito Unison coming up. Strength of Legends can be really good, and then people. So like this leader draws a
Which
lot.
Vegito Unison? The SCR?
The Vegito, the SCR, the Unison, the SCR Unison.
Not the green one?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
black Rainbow Boy.
Wait, why
Because
that one?
so hear me out. What is probably the biggest problem with that card is that it's completely unsearchable in a game where secret rares win you the game so often. But this leader has Term in a Power Arena and the ability to draw 2 cards every turn.
Oh,
That's
I thought we were still on
5.
Trader Dende. Oh my god.
No, we're talking
I didn't even
about
see you
Golden.
grab that. Yeah, no, that guy's like the best at the grabbing him and Announcer because Announcer just draws so many cards.
Announcer draws a lot, but he literally looks at 5 cards a turn.
Yeah.
Because you top 3 for top, and you're like, oh, my secret rare isn't in there. Okay, bottom deck, drop 1, draw 2.
Pretty good.
Like it's pretty nuts. Just the ability to stack your deck with top is really good, and you get to play just like a lot of good stuff because you have Emperor's Views. Like all of the cards that have Warriors of U7 just basically get to be kind of generic because they don't have to abide by any energy standards.
Yeah. Deck loses hard to hand control. That's how it's always been.
Huh?
That deck, yeah.
It draws a card every turn.
It,
Active main. You don't even have to wait for your opponent. You don't have to swing into your opponent.
yeah, it still will lose a hand control.
All right. I'll believe you on that.
Okay, this is back in set 6 when I was doing my AOD against, I guess this was running the Victory Strike version. Like he had
But
no
they
hand.
spent resources on stuff. That's the big thing is that you don't have to do that anymore.
Probably you're right. Maybe
So
because I haven't seen played against it in a
it's
long while.
it's certainly I think among the leaders even that we've grabbed here, it's maybe the least explored within this new meta. People talk about it, but I have not seen any Golden Frieza lists where they're like, here's Strength of Legends, here's how to
Yeah,
break it,
I think the
here's
most talk I've seen is like when that black Mass Saiyan, not black Mass Saiyan, but a black card Mass Saiyan. But it's like, hey, this stops Victory Strike, and the stubborn people are like, oh no, Height of Mastery Victory Strike though.
oh yeah,
Which I don't
yeah.
know where those people were coming from, but because that deck hasn't been a thing forever. Um, I think that there's the people building lists around this with that, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Let me know when
Yamcha.
you're ready.
I'm ready for
Yeah.
Yamcha. He up there.
Uh,
Yeah, he doesn't play too many cards, so he can go above Topo. He's like you get to see 2 cards a turn. You get to fill your drop.
I think I might have to get out of. We're like, oof,
We're almost there.
filling it out. Yeah, we're almost there though.
Um, I think Yamcha's pretty solid. Set 11. You got some new toys. Violent Rays, of course. Any red leader just gonna just run Violent Rays. Um,
Some of the cards that are in Yamcha are very good. And for those that are unaware, the TP Goku is really good. Like really, really good.
the set 10 TP Goku.
Yeah, like the 3-drop.
Hmm.
Just you burn yourself for 2, and then you burn your opponent for 2. In a deck that your leader like swings for more than 10 and then 15k, becomes a 15 and a 20k. That's really good because you're likely going to have more life than your opponent. Likewise, you get to awaken at 5, which is really powerful. You get to have Sin Shenron, which helps you keep your opponent's leader in, or your opponent's battle cards in check. Just like a really good leader. You can't really run non-red cards though, and that sucks.
Yeah, or else you're just discarding them all.
You could run like 2 overwhelm cards, but you just it's tough.
You can run Ape really easily.
Yeah, you could.
Just
I agree with that.
Ape, discard.
Same with not even a scratch, I suppose.
Yeah.
Go tanks tier 2, but I think just no, it's tier 1.5.
Yeah? How so?
It's just it's still just yellow good stuff, man.
Well,
And it
we
draws
were just talking
more.
about how yellow is so weak, though.
Yeah, but we're only saying it's the worst color, not that it's bad. Because like
No,
Sin Shenron is still up here.
yeah, the leader's pretty solid because he adds all these cards.
Because
Um,
like
where
yellow good stuff is still like the single best set of good stuff besides like probably green now because of how broken all their unisons are.
yeah, Bergamo's great.
Bergamo,
Final
Chill,
Flash is pretty good.
Super Combo,
Meki,
Arrival, Bojack, Warcry. Meki Gabora is still the best unison in the game, and I challenge you. It just is. When that unison hits the board, it feels impossible to win with most decks.
Mhm. I get behind it. I would get behind it.
And it just still draws more than any other league, basically.
You don't even have to run a Gotenks Atlas decision.
Do you remember everyone's arguments for when the leader was first revealed? People will just not play extra cards. Nobody even uses extra cards anymore. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Every deck extra cards you every turn. Green? Guess what? They're dormanting you every turn.
Oh, yeah, set 10 for
Blue?
sure.
You're using D Magic every turn. They're using Sensu Bean on their turn. Every deck uses extra cards. And like even some decks are using extra cards on their turn. Broly activates Vampa. Blue decks
On the
use
first
Sensu
turn,
Bean.
you don't. You're not. It doesn't count activating the skill. It's only when you play the battle card, extra card.
Yeah, and so you'll play it.
Yeah, so the
And
turn you play it.
then it's still so it gets used is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like that's really good. AODs are using
Pot of greed.
the Pot of Greed card.
The
I
Agent
don't.
Discretions. Well, what's it called? Strikes back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It completely nullifies Cell's Kamehameha against all the green decks. Red that has that upcoming Bean card is not going to do anything. Like people are
Yeah.
really underestimating how often extra cards are used. Even if your deck is a really low percentage of them, you still use like exactly 1 extra card per turn.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yellow good stuff. So it's just yellow good stuff, and then like a little bit of Gotenks. 2 now. I think he's still solid just because of the engine, and he draws so many cards when you awaken.
He
But his
does,
plays do cut back his energy a lot if you're
and he
going
has to.
for it.
He more than any other blue deck has to run a minimum number of not good cards to be able to play his game plan.
Yeah, the Goku Black, right? One
Like
drop.
Goku Black Future Decimator, and then the 1-drop Zamasu. And then you rely heavier on your unisons than the other decks. So Surge Soul Striker gets to draw more because you're gonna ape on turn 2, and then you also will get an extra turn to see your unison. And Vegito honestly gets to play more than just Zeno because he can run Janemba. And then Vegeta doesn't really need a unison to like survive. But Zamasu, you have to run 2 to 4 Mai, because if you don't see Zeno on turn 2, you start falling behind really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you use that Goku Black Future Decimator, you have to like put it into your energy, and then it's a -1. So yeah, you get to attack twice, but then your hand doesn't get bigger like it's supposed to.
Yeah. Then you're also running Manaka, which is good when you're good, but when you're
When it's
falling
bad,
behind, like
you can't use it to defend yourself, and it isn't a 10k boost. It's like no boost for getting double strike the way
yeah,
that Champa is
it's
in the
just
other deck.
because Zamasu gets the dual attack like every turn and draw cards. Like it's worth when
And then
you're going, but
and
like
you need to flip blue as well.
yes.
So
So it gets really hard when you run the Goku hit and like you could easily just hit your Zamasu super combo or Goku hit and you just ruined your whole turn.
mm-hmm. Only one left. Zamasu's at
Of course
7.
we end on your boy. Your favorite. He's
Yeah,
like your
love
favorite leader
it.
of all time, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, probably.
Probably.
It's just such a unique point in the game, and I think it's a really skill-intensive leader. I think like you have to be a decent amount of minimum or minimum amount of decent to not lose to it. Because like if you charge past turn 3 in this deck, what are you doing? They'll just give the energy to you. Like stop.
Exactly. Yeah.
um
Yeah, what are you doing?
I
I don't think it's there yet.
don't think so either, but there are a lot of matchups in this that you are surprised at how well it does.
Oh no, I
Here?
for sure.
Here?
Yep.
Sick. Honestly, might be able to handle this one because you could just play a different game.
Mhm.
Um, It's gonna lose to hand control. Sorry. It'll probably beat Bulma.
It's gonna
It
lose
will
hard to
beat.
Zamasu.
It'll auto beat Vegeta.
Yeah.
Would you like to draw a card and ramp yourself? Okay. Probably loses to this version of Soul Striker because I just need to buy the one turn. Um, Beats Sin Shenron, I think, because you can just Nimbus the turn they do their 6 because they're gonna go to 6 because they can't kill you otherwise.
Mhm.
Like there's a surprisingly large amount of things, but on the flip side, Broly,
Hey.
Vegex, Teen Gohan, Kidku, uh, the other Zamasu,
Yeah, just let me just keep killing my energy.
but like any deck, it is like a really weird. It's a control deck that beats like every other control deck. Like it has even or losing matchup with Invoker, but it's like a slight losing. But it beats Topo. It beats Baby. It beats Control Vegeta. It beats Sin Shenron. It beats all of these like just a little bit slower decks, and it's so good. Which is why like none of these in these ones there are. I look at the other leaders in this section, and they don't have winning matchups among any of the other tiers. Set 7 Zamasu actively beats Prison Frieza, actively beats Kefla, actively beats uh, both of the 21s.
Yeah.
It beats
Reborn. Oh no, Reborn can't. No, you can get it up higher than its
I can
6
put it
spec.
higher.
Yeah.
But it probably still beats that because it's a deck that's going to have similar or less hand than me. It can probably doesn't beat Jiren. It can beat or like it auto beats. I don't know if it auto beats Topo because like Warcry is really good, but it can beat Topo. Playing a slower game, I'm down to do that. Um, it can beat Surge Cell. It beats Hachiyak. it really just has these matchups that you're like, oh, okay, wow, you actually kind of just win that, or like it's so close to even that it doesn't matter. But I look at all of the other leaders in this list, and that just isn't the case. So I'm sorry, Dom. I think it's got to go here. I'll move it better than you said.
Yeah, I think Hercules. Hercules is fine.
Hercule's still better.
Yeah.
I think Hercule's still better.
So it kind of turned out how I thought. There's a lot more too inconsistent to rate than I thought. But
I was actually thinking there would be more of it, but then the more I thought about it, like, yeah. So guys, this is like honestly your tier 1. I would keep an eye out on Vegito, Invoker, and Sin and Soul Striker. These 4 could all leave. I will be shocked if Vegex, Gotenks, or Broly isn't tier 1. Other than that, this is looking pretty sick. So, if you guys have anything to add, please let us know in the comments what you think. This is roughly in order per tier. Tier 1 is kind of the hardest one to rank because they all have like good and bad matches amongst themselves. But I really, Broly it might just be the best deck in format, man, which is crazy because like it wasn't going to be at all, and then all of a sudden, just like one card busted it open because it beats most of these other decks outright. It can have trouble in the aggro deck. We'll say that.
yeah,
I
mean,
but...
it's aggro versus aggro. It's coin flip. Who goes first in Dragon Ball? Actually, Broly does well going second. Does really well going second.
And Broly is an untapped 2 leader that's red. So you just get to run Topo in the sideboard, which is why I think it beats Vegex. Because even in a best of 1 where like Vegex could like, oh, Vegex made it to turn 3, and so they get to play their Vegex piece, and then their 7-drop, and you just can't get out of that. Or you do, and then like you have no cards in hand, and so you can't swap anymore. But in the in the best of 3, you just take your turn, do as much as you can, and then you go, Topo, your turn's done. Come back to me. Okay, let's do it again. Do it again. Keep swinging. Okay, Topo or Violent Raise. Okay, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. And so, pretty good.
Yeah, I'm digging the tier list. How we got, and then of course this is only for like 1 month because then the whole draft box, brand new set comes out basically with draft box.
Which, like, real quick, that's going to affect, at least of what we've seen, I think it's going to secure Broly as maybe the best deck in format with King Piccolo.
Peel off and go up 1. For
Peel
sure.
up a tier? Up a tier?
At least not up
I don't
a
know if it goes up.
tier.
I don't know if it jumps a tier, but it could go to like,
but up in its tier.
Yeah.
Just because that King Piccolo is so good and the Lord Slug.
Big agree. Gohan might get a small buff. I don't know if that card is good enough, but if it gets other stuff in addition, that helps. Slug, this man could go like here. He is like 2 cards away from just being like second best hand control deck behind Frieza.
For sure. And then being able to add yellow, like, ooh.
Yellow for defense, but you don't even need yellow for defense anymore because of how good Dormant is.
Yeah, but double it.
But now there's 2.
¿Por qué no los dos? Yeah, alright, well, I think that we'll just end it here, or else we'll just get too much rambling again.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. I mean, that was like 3 hours in total between the 2 videos. So this one especially took us a long time because there are 66 leaders here. If you think we forgot a leader and your favorite leader was, we were just cruel, and Dom was the guillotine master.
Yeah.
He put on the black like ski mask thing and just cut its head off and said, "Wow, that leader's trash. I don't want to include it." You can blame
Black
him.
Broly. I try to get Black Broly on here.
Nope, you put together the list. It wasn't me. Everyone should get mad at him instead. Thanks, guys.